Welcome to Cool Things I've Built with Claude and might save you money. I'll show you how Claude helped me build a link in bio site so I didn't have to pay for another service. How it built a Now page on my website and an RSS feed that has all my content in one place. Get notifications when an item you're watching is back in stock. How I use scheduled tasks to make sure I never miss an email from a potential sponsor. How Claude can replace ManyChat automations, generate chapter timestamps for my podcasts, and more. So first few things have to do with a website. Whether it's your personal website or a small business, Claude can really help customize it, especially when you don't have deep HTML knowledge. I've built a lot of websites on Squarespace, like my personal website, but I don't have deep knowledge about how to customize the header or inject CSS, but Claude is really good at that. So the first thing I wanted to know was possible was, can I aggregate all the podcasts I do, my videos from YouTube, and social media posts in one page? And Claude helped me create this. I call it the Now page, and it has all the latest episodes from my podcasts, the latest videos from YouTube, and even has my Mastodon feed all in one place. Now here in Claude, I've been setting up projects for different use cases. So you'll see here on the left-hand side, I have a project for website. Any changes or additions I want to make there, I put all my chats in this one place. This way there's already context for what I want to do. I also have a project for Top 5 Tech, my podcast, any YouTube videos, and building shortcuts. I do it all here. So for the website, I went back and forth with Claude, figuring out how can we aggregate all this information. And it walked me through step by step, setting up a Cloudflare worker, which I know, just saying the word Cloudflare worker sounds a little intimidating, but Cloudflare is actually free to use, so you don't have to pay for this either. And then Claude would walk me through copy and paste code into the worker, and then giving me code to embed on the Squarespace website. So this Now page that I've built with Claude here in Squarespace, all it is a single code block here in Squarespace, and I just copy and pasted the code that Claude gave me. A little back and forth as far as image formatting, like I wanted the square podcast artwork and the thumbnails to be the same width so everything looked uniform, and all of this links out to my various podcast pages and YouTube videos. It all just worked. Then I wanted to see if I could go a step further. Can I actually have an RSS feed that is generated with all my posts in one place? Typically, you might pay for an RSS service that would aggregate everything in one place, but Claude was able to do that for me too. So now at the bottom of my Now page, there's a complete feed via RSS, and if you were to add that to a reader like Reader Classic, the app, now all those same posts like my podcast episodes and videos, they're all in this one RSS feed that someone can follow and just see everything I'm doing. Plus, it was able to pull my Mastodon post, so I have that here in a sidebar, and I really didn't give it a lot of formatting instructions. It just kind of laid it out nicely like this. So that Now page is pretty cool, but something even more useful that you might be paying Linktree or BioSite for is a link in bio page. I've always wanted a clean URL to my own website for a link in bio page, rather than sending traffic to Linktree and those other services. And so Claude helped me build this page. It is also living on my Squarespace website. You'll see I've hidden the navigation bar. It has links to my social media here and nice little buttons, even with little images next to it. So if someone's coming because of a product I talked about in a reel or TikTok, it's easily tappable here. And because I already made that Now page, I was able to tell Claude to put my latest YouTube video at the bottom. And now I have a link in bio page on my website, so I'm getting traffic, and it was all built with Claude. And just to show you on the back end, in this Squarespace page, I asked Claude for code to inject into the header. This way I could hide that navigation bar like a link in bio page would do. And in the page header code injection, I just pasted what Claude gave me, and sure enough, it eliminated that navigation bar. And just like my Now page, this entire thing is just one code block in Squarespace where I copy and pasted what Claude gave me. Now I know enough HTML where I can update some of the buttons if I wanted to change my link in bio page, but if you're not comfortable with that, I could just go back to the conversation that I have in my website project, give it a new product, maybe a new link, and just ask it to spit out all the code for me so I can just copy and paste it. Two more website related things, and then we'll get into other use cases. One of my most visited pages on the website is my smart home gear page. So not only do I have a video usually at the top, but all the HomeKit and Apple Home devices that I've used over the years, they're all linked here with affiliate links. Now this page has lived in my Squarespace site for years and years, and I was using what Squarespace called the Amazon product block. I would be able to search for a product, it would have a nice little image with a link to it. Squarespace has deprecated that block. So adding these Amazon items would mean either creating an image file manually, having to crop it. It was going to be a lot of work to redo all the items on this page manually using Squarespace blocks. So instead, this was my prompt right here. I said, just build me a ready-made HTML CSS product grid for Squarespace. I'm telling it where I'm putting it. I said make it 3 items across on desktop, but responsive so it looks good on mobile. And I gave it my old HomeKit page as a reference, and it was able to pull all the links and products from there and format this basically in one shot. Then I went back and forth with just a few updates, and now I have a fully responsive smart home page. When someone clicks on these items, it opens my affiliate link over on Amazon. If someone's on mobile and someone's going to go to my smart home page, it looks great there as well. It's formatted into a single column mode, and all the links still work. And the great part is, no matter what you build your website on, as long as it lets you inject code or embed raw HTML onto a page, Claude can build anything for you, even hiding design elements of the template you might be using in your website builder, and just show the content that you want. All right, and lastly, I wanted the homepage of my website to always show my latest long-form videos from YouTube. And so this top block right here is once again a code block. Claude gave me the embed code, plus it has a subscribe on YouTube button, goes over to my channel. And this way I don't have to update my webpage manually with my latest videos. They just automatically show up, powered by the YouTube RSS feed, a Cloudflare worker that Claude helped me build, and Squarespace. And in case you were wondering, nothing in this video is sponsored. I pay for my own Squarespace website. I've paid for Claude for years. I just wanted to share some cool things I built with it. But let's go into some other use cases that you can use with Claude Cowork. So if you have the Claude Mac app, I'm going to go to this middle tab, which is the Cowork section. And if you want Claude to work on files on your Mac or connect things via MCP, which I'll show you in a minute, this is where you would go. And what makes this really powerful is you can have scheduled tasks. Now, this Claude instance on my Mac Studio doesn't have scheduled tasks, but I do have a Mac Mini sitting in a closet, so just screen shared it over there. I'll open the Claude app. So here in the Claude Cowork on my Mac Mini, I have several scheduled tasks. One is an email sponsor sweep. We'll get to that in a second. Auto-responding to TikTok comments using the browser. And let's create a new one, because a service I was paying for was changedetection.io. If I wanted to see when a product was back in stock, I would use that to send a push notification using Pushcut. Well, rather than pay for that, you can use browser control here in Claude to do the same thing. When you create a new scheduled tasks, you can create with Claude, which kind of gives you a tutorial and really walks you through step by step what you're making, but I'm just going to set it up manually. And let's call this travel router notification. Now I'm going to do a couple things in this scheduled task. Rather than ask, I want it to act without asking. Namely, it's just going to take action, open the browser behind the scenes, navigate to the page, all without me doing anything. And for frequency, I want to check hourly. That stock can change quickly, so I want it checking often. And you can choose the default model. Again, depending on how big the task is, you probably just need Sonnet, or you can go to Opus for more powerful tasks. Now, I want Claude to send me a notification on my iPhone when this product is back in stock. So let's set this up for the Unified Travel Router. You can see it's sold out right now, so I'm going to copy the URL for this web page. I'm going to ask it to check the status of the Unified Travel Router on this page, and I'm going to give it the URL. And I'm going to say if it's out of stock, send me a push notification with this URL, which we're going to create in a moment. If it's in stock, send me a different notification. So here's the cool part. I'm going to go to the Pushcut app here on my iPhone. And Pushcut is free up to 3 notifications, so you can use it without paying for it and try it out with Claude. I'm going to click the plus button to create a new notification. We'll call this router out of stock. That's just the name of the notification for my reference. And then here in the notification, I'm going to put what I want to see here on my iPhone. I'll say router out of stock, and then I'll add a little emoji just for clarity. I'm going to delete this part, I don't need that. And then I'm going to tap the blue check here at the top, and you'll see now I have a copy URL in the bottom left. I'll copy URL, copy it here, and then back in Claude, I'm just going to paste that same URL. So that's the out of stock notification that I will get through Pushcut. And then I'll just create a second one for in stock. This time I'll do router in stock, same thing for the notification title, delete this, and then I have the copy URL option, and I'll give that to Claude. So that's it, pretty minimal instructions, but let's save the scheduled task and then we can do a test run to see if it actually works. So it's going to run every hour, but I can also manually run it just to make sure it's working how I intended. So I'm going to click run now on the scheduled task. You can see it's now running, and you'll see in the left sidebar of Claude that any scheduled tasks that are running, you can keep track and see how it's thinking, what it's doing, and you'll see all the hourly runs the next day. Now it already ran, it said task complete. And if we look here on my iPhone, that notification came in right here. The router is out of stock, and sure enough it is. So now I can have Claude look at that web page, check the stock or even a price change, and it's all built into scheduled task. Use something like Pushcut to get a notification, all just built into this system. And these scheduled tasks get really powerful when you connect it to your data, like via MCPs. So here in Claude, I'm going to go up to the settings. And if you go to your connectors, I've connected this to lots of services. Things like Circle, where my shortcuts community is. Which, by the way, if you love automation and you're into shortcuts, there's some huge changes in iOS 27, and you can join my community for free. Over 4,000 people are there. but you can also scan this QR code and become a member. You get access to my weekly live streams. You can watch past live streams, and I covered all the new actions in iOS 27 in my last live stream. You can watch that right now. Plus I share shortcuts of the week and a ton more. The summer's a great time to join. We're gonna be doing all the shortcut stuff for iOS 27. But one of the custom MCPs that I use to connect to Claude is Fastmail. It's a first-party MCP, so you're not using some third-party service. You just add the api.fastmail.com/MCP here in Claude. You authenticate your Fastmail account, and now I can give it access to read my email, but maybe I don't want to give it access to delete email or draft emails unless I approve it. So you can granularly control all those permissions. But now that it can see my email in Fastmail, and if you use Gmail, there's a first-party connector for that as well. One of these scheduled tasks I have in Claude on this Mac Mini is what I call the email sponsor sweep. I don't have a personal assistant, and the one email I want to make sure I don't miss is from a potential sponsor. But I get so much email every day, a lot of them get filtered to other folders besides my inbox. And what this will do, it goes through my entire Fast Messages and my SaneBox folders, which those filters will often move email to my Sane Later or Sane News, but sometimes sponsors can get caught in there. Well, this just runs once a day, every day at 4 p.m. It looks for any email that might look like it's from a sponsor, and it's going to draft an email response, so I can just look at my drafts folder in my email and see all the potential sponsors there. And then I can go back to any of the times this task ran. Like you'll see every day at 4:10 p.m. it's been running, and I can see all the sponsors it replied to right here. Now I can just look at this Claude task, or I can just go to the Mail app, and this could be the Mail app on my phone, my Mac, doesn't matter because it's just the drafts folder in my Fastmail account. And this email right here was drafted by Claude in response to a possible sponsor email. So rather than looking through multiple folders, wondering if they got caught in the junk, I can just look at my drafts for any given day and see what might have been a potential sponsor. Then I can choose to just send the draft that Claude created or ignore it. All right, 2 more tasks. Another scheduled one that I have here in Cowork. You can give Claude access to control a browser, and it will work with any Chromium browser because there's just a Claude extension. So here on this Mac Mini that I'm screen sharing to, I have Brave, and you'll see the Claude extension is right here. It's set to act without asking, so I don't have to approve anything when it runs in the background. And if you're familiar, ManyChat is a service that will automatically respond to comments on Instagram, and I do a lot of things with links, like shortcut links, and ManyChat doesn't work with TikTok. I think it's more of a TikTok issue. They don't want all that automation going on their platform, but I also miss a lot of comments, and it would be really time consuming to DM every person that wanted a shortcut. So I created this automation that just goes to TikTok on the web, looks for any post that might have shared a link, and if there's comments asking for it, it will DM them automatically. So I'm gonna run this task on the Mac Mini, and you should see it will open the web browser all on its own. You can see it's opening the TikTok website. I'm not doing anything. My hands are right here. It should be going to the last post that's not a pin video. You can kind of see the orange glow around the web page, which means Claude is working on this one right now. There you go, it navigated to that last page, is looking to see if I put a link in the comments, which is some of the instructions I gave it, and if anybody asked for it, it would DM them automatically. The browser control with scheduled tasks and Claude plus MCPs, so many possibilities for automating workflows and maybe saving you money by not having to pay for other automation services. All right, but one more task, and this is related more to YouTube videos and podcasts, but you might find it useful. Every week when I make primary technology, I want to put chapter markers in there, and embedding them in the MP3 file can be a little cumbersome. I edit the video with Riverside, but the automated chapters there's just a large number of them, and they're not the chapters I want. So I have a text expander shortcut here, where when I do ;chap, it has this prompt. I say, here's a podcast transcript with timestamps, and here's a list of the chapters that I want. Go through the transcript and give me the timestamps. And then what I'll do is give Claude the .srt file, which has all the timestamps for the transcript of the podcast. I'll give it the names of the chapters that I want, rather than it creating chapters on its own. And when I send all of that to Claude, the .srt file, my prompt, and the chapter names that I want, and now it just generated all those chapter timestamps. You see them here with the names that I dictated, and I can just copy this, and then I use an app called Chapterize. And this app is expressly made to just copy and paste timestamps like I just have Claude generate. I import them, and it can embed all those chapters. I can drag in chapter artwork, and then my chapters for the audio of the podcast is done. So those are some cool things I built with Claude. If you have suggestions or wonder if what you want to do is possible, let me know down in the comments. And get subscribed and hit that like button. Lots of automation tips here on the channel. And if you want to learn more about shortcuts, I have my shortcuts for iOS 27 video. I'll link that right up here. And my last video talking more about Claude and Cowork and how it can do things directly on your Mac. You can check out that video right up here. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.